You read what others had done, and you took the next step. You didn't earn the knowledge for yourselves, so you don't take any responsibility. You stood on the shoulders of geniuses to accomplish something as fast as you could, and before you even knew what you had, you patented it.
Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes. I just went on vacation. I thought maybe I would skip This Week in X-Men. No new X-Men comics coming out this week. I thought it might be quiet. Boy, was I wrong. Lots of X-Men news came out that we have to talk about. And with me, as always, is X-Men historian and one of the original comics aficionados and contributors to the channel, Dok. How's it going, buddy?
I'm doing great. I'm finally feeling better after getting sick.
Well, we're glad that you're feeling better now. We got some X-Men to talk about. When Jonathan Hickman announced Dawn of X Wave 2, we heard a couple of names, Leah Williams, Vita Ayala, specifically, that we were a little bit apprehensive on. We've been trying to figure out what comics they're actually going to be writing. We know X-Corp is still out there. We got no information on that. There's another Moira-centric X-Men title that we haven't got information on. And I believe there's also another one that centers on Resurrection. We still don't know about that one, but we finally know the identities of the Leah Williams and Vita Ayala series, and we're going to talk about them. First up, there's a new X Factor in town in April, written by Leah Williams, illustrated by David Baldion. It's going to be centered on Northstar, one of Marvel's first openly gay characters, iBoy, Telepath, Rachel Gray, Prodigy, Polaris, and Dakin. Got a lot of second-generation mutants in this one. What do you think about X Factor?
I think it's got an interesting cast that has nothing to do with, historically with X Factor. And it's got a terrible writer with a pretty good artist. I like it. I like David's work. And I still think Leah Williams should be ejected from the Galaxy for what she did on The Extremists. So giving her X Factor seems like a problem.
Is it problematic, Doc?
No, it's just a problem. No, I mean, it's a lot of characters that some of them are interesting. Some of them I'd like to see explored more. Some of them I'd like to see thrown into the sun. Another, Daken, in my opinion, has always sucked. I've never had any interest in Daken. Now, Northstar I like. Polaris, great. Rachel Gray, Summers, whatever she's going by these days, excellent. iBoy is another terrible character that should have just been forgotten from during the Jason Aaron era of X-Men. It's just another wasted mutant that has no use to anybody, and let's just be honest, he kind of makes you feel icky when you look at him. Like, just that many eyes is kind of creepy.
Yeah, there's like a point where I guess the new X-Men writers stopped thinking of cool abilities because they'd all been taken. They just started making the weirdest, dumbest characters possible. And it really sucks that they've all stuck around,
Yes. I mean, these are characters that should have been, in the background of a random issue where they end up in the Morlock tunnels for... 2 issues, and then you never see them for another 6 years. That's what these characters should be. But apparently we've decided to make them regular X-Men kind of secondary and tertiary characters.
What's kind of weird with Leah Williams is she's having some success right now with The Amazing Mary Jane. People seem to like it. It seems like maybe that's her niche, like a self-aware kind of meta comic.
Well, she's writing what she knows. She's a Hollywood.
Yeah.
She did, production work in Hollywood, so she's writing a comic about production work in Hollywood, and she seems to be okay at that. But
she doesn't anything with tapes very well.
No, but anything super heroic, she's effing terrible at, and she should be kept as far away from it as possible.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird match too with X Factor. It doesn't seem like you would want a better action storyteller,
Well, I don't understand the point of this book, to be honest. This is just, it seems like it was there's no purpose to it. All the other X books at least have some degree of a purpose. This is just 5 or 6 characters that they're not currently using in something else in a historical X-Men title, just to exist, to fill shelf space. And even this Children of the Atom book, which we'll get into shortly, looks like it has a function. This doesn't seem to have any purpose except for filling shelf space.
So you just mentioned Children of the Atom. That's the next one we're going to talk about. Also debuting in April, from Vita Ayala with art from Bernard Chang. Vita Ayala is an okay writer. You can tell that she actually has some promise, not very well edited. And I think she's been thrown into the deep water a little bit too fast. We know, or the character lineup is unknown, but they appear to be based on the cover. They appear to have similar powers or connections to Cyclops, Angel, Nightcrawler, Marvel Girl, Gambit, maybe some other characters. So I think there are too many X-Men as it is, and I don't want a next generation of X-Men. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that this isn't really the next generation of X-Men. I think that this is going to be a book about the first generation of hybrids. That they, and I think that that's what this is going to be. This may end up being the Moira book, and we just don't know it yet. Now, when you say Vita Ayala is not bad, I think that that's being generous, because I think she's equally terrible.
She is
Leah
better
Williams.
at writing a plot and executing a story than Teenie Howard or Leah Williams by far.
I'd say by millimeters, but okay. Look, I this is another creator that with another book that okay, now this one may actually have a purpose. If it is what I suspect it is, because it looks like, at least from the cover, it looks like this may be the first generation of hybrids, like with Sinister and Moira working on the hybrid program that they talk about, and that they teased in House of X and Powers of X. And if so, that's interesting. I don't know if it's necessarily deserves its own book. It is nice to see them at least using some of these plot points and plot threads from House of X and Powers of X and actually doing something with it. Now, what the purpose of it is, I'm not entirely certain. I don't know what stories you're going to tell about this, except for maybe some body horror stuff with characters coming out, let's just say, less than fully baked. But other than that, I don't know what stories you're going to tell with these characters.
Time will tell on that one. I do want to talk before we get to the good news of the week. And yes, people, if you're watching, there is some good news, and we're very excited about the oversaturation. It's gone past the point of no return. Like, how many X-Men books are we going to have by the time 2020 is up? Well, 25. Like, this is getting ridiculous.
Well, based on what Hickman said, is they want an X book for everybody.
I did think that was funny. I guess they're starting to get feedback that people are finding some of these books are pointless. Like,
yes,
this is supposed to be a connected narrative. That's what it was sold on, that all these books are interconnected and they tell one big tapestry of a story. And I guess the feedback is, yeah, but they're all totally different, and the quality levels are varying to such a degree that I don't want to read them all. And he's saying, oh yeah, that's not what we intended to begin with. Now just read the ones you like.
Yeah, that seems I think that seems like a flimsy excuse for him putting some rather less than talented creators on some of these books.
I'd say Teenie Howard's exceptionally been found wanting. She was not ready for.
She wasn't ready for
any X-Men title. It's pretty terrible.
She wasn't ready.
Jerry
for
Duggins is okay.
It's okay, but it doesn't really advance any sort of narrative. Okay, they're pirates, great, and they're moving drugs, so now they're essentially drug runners. Okay, cool.
The New Mutants is okay when they're in space, but when it's terrestrial based, it's
pointless.
Unreadable.
It's unreadable and pointless. Fallen Angels might be advancing the narrative pretty well, but the art is atrocious.
So bad. Yeah.
So no, like there's just too damn many of these books. Like, as I said I think I said it on Twitter. I said, okay, Marvel makes House of X, Powers of X. Everybody, fans, we love this. We want more. Marvel releases 3,700 X books over the next 6 months. No, stop.
Yeah, the double shipping has turned out to be a catastrophe in my mind. It's just reinforcing how terrible Excalibur and Marauders are in comparison to X-Force and X-Men when Hickman's got a good issue. That X-Men is absolutely worth reading. And I think it's killing interest, man. It's killing my interest.
It really is. It's this oversaturation where you gotta dig through the noise. Like the signal to noise ratio in this relaunch is really poor, and people don't want to dig through the noise to figure out which of the 38 X-Men titles by the time we get to later this year are actually important. People don't want to do that. They just want to be able to go, okay, I'm buying the X line. That's cool. Because we still got Wolverine to come. There's so
X-Men,
many.
Fantastic Four, Giant Size X-Men, Hellions, Cable, X Factor. We got
Children of the Atom. Children of the Atom, X Corp. It's too much. And then you brought up the double and double shipping, and then you ship 5 books last week and none this week.
Yeah, it's really strange. But it's because X-Men got delayed.
I know
it wasn't supposed to ship on the 29th.
Okay, then hold one of the other ones back for this week. Balance it out, keep it nice and even.
I think it's another thing because they're wanting to release all the issue numbers in trades. So like all the number 1 issues are one trade, all the number 2 issues are one trade. So they're like stuck together.
Yeah, I don't understand that either.
It's got Jordan White's the stench written all over it.
Yeah, and his ukulele.
Yeah. Jettison that guy to say, okay, enough with the bad stuff. I don't want to keep going on in this because I'm just my blood pressure is gonna go up about how bad this Dawn of X thing has been botched to this point. Let's talk about something cool, something I can't wait for. X-Men God Loves Man Kills extended director's cut, slated to launch in April. Chris Claremont and Brent Anderson. This is the story that inspired many other X-Men stories, including X2, X-Men United. It's a 2-part limited series that retells and expands upon the iconic comic book using a brand new present-day X-Men story as a framing device. How excited are you for this?
I'm really happy with this. I'm disappointed that Chris is only doing basically a one-shot, spread out over 2 issues. But you're getting new Claremont with new Claremont X-Men in this, in a reprint, and a reprint of God Loves Man Kills, which I have the original on my bookshelf, but it's not a cheap back issue to pick up. So getting it in a new format, especially in comic size format, because it was always in the oversized graphic novel format before, is nice. So
me being overseas, I recently read this, but I had to do it on digital. I can't get my hands on anything back issue related. Exactly. So this has me extremely excited. Please, more director's cut of old vintage stuff that I want to buy.
Yes. Yeah, I
will buy it all.
It seems like another one of those things where Marvel's recognizing the reader interest and the consumer interest in older material. It's the reason why these facsimile editions keep outselling some new books, and no, it's good. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be great. I'd like to see them expand upon it a little bit. The original wasn't in continuity for a long time until they kind of retroactively put it into continuity. But
because it wasn't originally released as single issues, it was part of like Marvel graphic novel
yeah,
number 5 or something.
Yeah, it was part of the Marvel graphic novel series, which were all generally out of continuity stories that eventually sort of sometimes became part of continuity. That they figured out a way to stick it in there later. So it's good, but it was a good story. I think the problem is that a lot of creators in the past decade or maybe even 15 years with X-Men have thought that was the kind of the whole X-Men thing, instead of being more that, because for a long time that was kind of it was a little bit of an out there story. It was a unorthodox X-Men story. So no, it's good though. I like it.
I'm really excited about this. I think it's going to be great. Like I said, this is a book that I actually want to own. It inspired my personal favorite X-Men movie of all times, X2, which I think is easily the best one. And I will definitely be buying that one. Can't wait for more stuff like this. And I think Chris Claremont is probably going to pants some of the new X-Men writers and show them how it's done, because the old dog still got some new tricks in it.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, he does.
All right, Doc. Thank you very much for joining me on This Week in X-Men. Got a lot of interesting stuff to talk about. Some new series, Dawn of X is definitely oversaturated, but some great news with a special X-Men God Loves Man Kills Extended Director's Cut coming in April. Later, bro.
Later, brother.
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I would appreciate it very much. It helps us attract more views for the channel. Subscribe for future commentary, comic book news, and reviews. And don't forget to ring the bell for notifications. If you want to talk comics, movies, and much, much more, you can follow me on Twitter at Wes_from_TC. With that, Salamat Po, and I'm out.